Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. I'm reading a book called The Greatest Minds and Ideas of All Time by Durant, a very famous historian who wrote a 14-volume, fat, very regarded history of Western civilization, Durant. And this book starts with an introductory chapter that's titled The Shameless or Shameless Worship of Heroes. And I'm going to read you most of it's about 5 minutes, not a long thing. Just deleting things that are very clearly dated or obscure. But the point really, I think, is so important, its central point, and it's so contrary to the everybody's equal, accept everybody. It's only because of external barriers that keep people from being the genius within all of us. It's bullshit. I think he wrote in the late 20th century, and before there was such an iron-fisted censorship about merit, against merit. Okay, a shameless worship of heroes. Of the many ideals which in youth gave life a meaning and radiance missing from the chilly perspectives of middle age, one at least has remained with me as bright and satisfying as ever before: the shameless worship of heroes. In an age that would level everything and reverence nothing, I take my stand with the Victorian Carlyle and light my candles before Plato's image at the shrines of great men. I say shameless, for I know how unfashionable it is now to acknowledge in life or history any genius loftier than ourselves. Our democratic dogma has leveled not only all voters, but all leaders. We delight to show that living geniuses are only mediocrities and that dead ones are myths. Since it is contrary to good manners to exalt ourselves, we achieve the same result by slyly indicating how inferior are the great men of the earth. Why should we stand reverent before waterfalls and mountaintops, or a summer moon on a quiet sea, and not before the highest miracle of all, a man who is both great and good? Such men are the very lifeblood of history, to which politics and industry are but frame and bones. Part cause of the dry scholasticism from which we were suffering is the conception of history as an impersonal flow of figures and, quote, facts, in which genius played so inessential a role that histories prided themselves on ignoring them. It was to Marx, above all, that this theory of history was due. It was bound up with a view of life that distrusted the exceptional man. Marx envied superior talent and exalted the humble as the inheritors of the earth. The real history of man is not in prices and wages, nor in elections and battles, nor in the even tenor of the common man. It is in the lasting contributions made by geniuses to the sum of human civilization and culture. The history of France is not the history of the French people, the history of those nameless men and women who tilled the soil, cobbled the shoes, cut the cloth, and peddled the goods. For these things have been done everywhere and always. The history of France is the record of her exceptional men and women, her inventors, scientists, statesmen, poets, artists, musicians, philosophers, and saints, and of the additions which they made to the technology and wisdom, to the artistry and decency of their people and mankind. And so with every country, so with the world. Its history is properly the history of its great men. What are the rest of us but willing brick and mortar in their hands, that they may make a race a little finer than ourselves? Therefore I see history not as a dreary scene of politics and carnage, but as the struggle of man through genius, the struggle to understand, control, and remake himself and the world. I see men standing on the edge of knowledge, and holding the light a little farther ahead, men carving marble into forms, ennobling men molding people into better instruments of greatness, men making a language of music and music of language, men dreaming of finer lives and living them. Here is a process of creation more vivid than in any myth, a godliness more real than in any creed. To contemplate such men is to recapture some of the thrill that youth gave us. Too soon we extinguished the flame of our hope and our reverence. Let us light the candles again. Anyway, that's a shameless worship of history from the book The Greatest Minds and Ideas of All Time by the legendary historian Will Durant. In any event, I thank you for watching. I welcome your thumbs up, accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 34 books. Perhaps the most relevant is, I guess How to Do Life. But anyway, all 34 are on Amazon. Thanks for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.